I'm struggling with the order. Anyway. Morning, y'all. Right, I got one more day before 2 days away filming. I think yesterday's video got people thinking, didn't it, about some great responses in the comments. Lots of people not really respecting Tour Pro coaches like the media do. It's interesting, isn't it? I mean, they just want real coaches that they can go and see day in, day out, help them with their golf. I mean, it's so obvious, isn't it? It's just the media in its years of... I mean, look, I always class it similar to the paper they use on their magazine. So it used to have to be glossy paper, didn't it? That's what defined them. Glossy pictures, glossy paper, big articles. Look at the paper they're printing on now. It's toilet paper. They print it on toilet paper because no one's buying them anymore. And basically, to be honest with you, that's all it's really useful for, isn't it? See ya. Have a good day. Yeah, still they plough on, don't they? Same old people. Old editors. Jobs for the boys. Right, so today's question is going to be in line with the code that Golf Online are supplying us for this, is it Black Friday? I never know, I don't really shop that much online. I kind of don't really shop that much. What do you want for Christmas? There's a question. Post comments down below. New Star Wars figures, Millennium Falcon, Epic Driver, Tailor-Made irons. Yeah, what do you want? Post comments down below, hit the thumbs up button. As always, go on. You, hit it, and you. Thank you. And hit that subscribe button if you don't subscribe already. Drivers everywhere. So today's daily vlog, and I did some of these videos years back and I haven't really done them again since, even though they're massive view counters, because I think they're ridiculous to a certain extent, but we'll talk about that today. So what I'm going to do today is tell you my top 5 drivers. I get asked this question a lot, so I'm going to talk about what they are and the reasons why I don't like these videos and the reasons why they're basically just clickbait. I'm kind of making a clickbait video, aren't I? But I'm making a clickbait video while complaining about making a clickbait video. That's got to stand for something, isn't it? So these top 5, if that's what we're calling it, are not kind of in order, but kind of are, but I think you'll understand as we go on why I'm struggling with the order. Anyway, so 2 drivers to start me off, not even from the same manufacturer. So these are kind of noticeable mentions and they both need to be in my top 5. It's the Mizuno JPX 900 and then it's the Trixin Z65. Now, the reason these are in, and I know they're not the same driver, is when it comes to the best looking driver of 2017-2018, you're not going to beat the Mizuno. It just looks fantastic in its colorways. So this driver has adjustability galore, loads of neck settings, so it goes from 7.5 up to 11.5 with upright settings. You've got dialable tracks and a sliding base plate weight as well. So you've got adjustability crazy. And to me, to be honest with you, it doesn't need all that, because what this is a good performing, great looking driver. But I feel sometimes with Mizuno and some other companies that they just whack loads of stuff in there because they're desperately trying to sell more woods, because this isn't a brand lots of people are thinking about when it comes to driver, but maybe you should think more about it because it's as good as it gets. Now, in contrast to that, this one has a changeable neck, which does offer you lots of lofts, so adjustability there, but no adjustability anywhere else. And it's so clean in its lines in the Trixin. I think it's a really good looking driver. Performed great on the test I did. I hit a great shot from the deck with it. Silver face, black top, titanium 460. Both of these I think are 460, but don't quote me that on the Mizuno one. I'd have to look that up. But it's so clean in what it does, which I like. And I think a lot of drivers get a bit bogged down in trying to put nuts and bolts on everything, isn't it? You know, it's like, how much can we put on this? So that's better now, look, because it's got those 2 bits on it. And it does feel a little bit like that with drivers sometimes, doesn't it? So my top 5, or my 5th, not in order, kind of in order, is actually 2 drivers: Trixin Z65, Mizuno JPX 900. Great looking, few too many gizmos, but you can move spin around. Classic looking, clean lines, perform well. 262, 262. Happy birthday to Coach. Happy birthday to Coach. Happy birthday to Coach. Happy birthday to Coach. Woo! Right, next driver. We've got some builders building, so not sure how many. Oh, there they go. How many other best ofs have the builders in the background? Titleist, D3, D2, 917. Has to be these two. So D2, the bigger headed version, D3, the smaller headed version. I see these as the same driver because they're really part of getting custom fit. Your spin model will change with these two, your appearance of the head and what you expect to look down at will change with these two, but it's the same driver, same tech. You get your, better call this right, active recall channel, they like me to call it. SureFit CG, SureFit neck, which has been around for years and very innovative. I can never say that word, and I said it wrong then. So change the lie and the loft separately. They're one of the first to do that, many followed. Comes in the all black kind of greyish finish, used by many tour players. Oh. Bit more. This is a big one. Right, we're back. So D3, D2, Titleist 917, a custom fit, a ball like to the extreme, almost too much for some people I think, but that's why it's so important Titleist try and stress that you go to one of their fitting days and get a professional fit, like all the companies would really. They're off again, we're going indoors. So for me, it wouldn't be a list unless you included this, numbers off this, decent, same as other drivers, 262 kind of carry to just below, subject to my testing days. It's a great driver and one that is kind of tour proven and a name that's just so trusted in golf, isn't it? Right, I've got some boxes to go and pick up from the range. Right, so one of the reasons why I don't like these kind of videos is I think they kind of miss the point and they actually suggest other things. They suggest that one of these clubs could be better than the other, and I think that is flawed. Because if you've watched my videos over the last 10 years, you're going to see my driving distance hasn't really gone up. The only thing that was ever introduced, I think, in this time is Tailor-Made came along and introduced a low spinning driver. All companies followed suit, and that showed us that we could get some more distance out of a low spinning model. But that didn't mean we were better. That means we just sacrificed in other places, and I've used low spinning drivers to great effect and then moved away from them as my golf has kind of developed. I think as well they've got such negative connotations and have done over the years, you know, gold award in the magazine, so blatantly kind of semi-paid for content, isn't it, from brands they're working heavily in their advertising. It always felt, and they were just hollow. So I just feel that these videos, I just think they're hard to make with any kind of real feeling, but you seem to want them, which is why I'm making this one, and hopefully it'll make it clear of how to watch these kind of videos in the future. You know, this is basically my opinion on what I think are the best drivers, but at the end of the day, nothing should stop you going and get fitted and trying your own ones. That's the key here, isn't it? And certainly none of these drivers are in this list because they're paid for in any way. They're not. It's not a sponsored post. No manufacturer knew I was making this post, so if you go back again to the media, they would be saying, right, we've got our top 5 next week, do you want your ad in next month? You know, all that kind of connection. I didn't decide to do this video till this morning. No one knows I'm doing it yet until it posts tonight, apart from me obviously. Boxes collected, let's get back. Right, that leads us on to number 3. Not in any order, kind of is, you get what I mean come the end. It's going to have to be Tailor-Made M1 M2. Again, both drivers, because again, if you're getting fit, they're kind of the same club. One offers M1 a lot more custom fit options in dialable weights. Same necks on both of these, where M2 comes as standard, just changing loft and a little bit of lie on the neck. You got geoacoustic, titanium, tops and backs. They're saving weight everywhere they can to try and maximize kind of where they can put the weight in the face to keep it friendly across the face and how low and back they can put it, those kind of things. I do again find M1 far too nuts and boltsy for my game. If I was gaming one of these, M2 all day, because I would set M1 up like I would set M2 up anyway, so I don't see the point. And I think they are 2 different price points, and I think a lot of people, again, as long as you're getting fit, this one's going to do it for you. Great looking clubs as well, up there with the Mizuno line of brilliant looking drivers. It's kind of on best looks. Mizuno in this one are kind of close 1 and 2 really. I couldn't really call it. Fantastic looking club, seen on tour, one on tour, Obviously the club hasn't. I think that's more to do with the player. But, you know, it's a brand that has got a big presence with a lot of tour players singing and dancing about its clubs. It was a slightly weak release from the prior M1 M2. It was a bit of a weak kind of, not really much change. It was like a 1.5 rather than going from version 1 to version 2. But that still doesn't take away from those clubs being good. Perform great numbers. I can move the spin around 300 revs by moving the weights around. If you're good enough to dial into 300 revs, good luck to you and play around with it. But again, for me, M2, if you had to pick between them, but both very good drivers. In at number 3, not in any order. Kind of is in an order, but kind of isn't. Oh. Hello. Collected. Right, number 2 has to be this one. Ping G400 comes in 3 heads. This is the low spin one, which is probably my preferred out of the 3. Slightly smaller in head shape. Ping have gone this year, which was quite brave of them. It's covered in aerodynamics. You've got Vortex on the back, Dragonfly, little bobbles, turbulators. It's like aerodynamic me up. It's a great looking club, and it looks great in that slightly smaller head size. I do love the way they make 3 heads rather than having loads of tracks and clamping loads of stuff on. I think that's clever and makes a lot of sense. I've been lucky enough to meet lots of the people who make this club, and they're, well, not all of them, but the ones I've met are young, they're clever, they're trying to do some good stuff with Ping, and I think the G400 driver is along those lines. It's exciting, it's fresh, and it's trying to push an envelope that is almost impossible to push, which you've got to admire. Not everyone goes for the top. I think some people turns them off how jazzy it looks, but again, it's played on tour by their tour staff and very loyal to it. I actually like the way Turbulators and Dragonfly kind of frames up the bore. I'm not sure Vortex is going to change my life, but I think it performs well. Always get good consistent numbers out of the Ping. The 3 models do exactly kind of what their advertisers do, and that's another thing. I think their advertising is quite unique. It's not as bells and whistles as other companies. It's just really solid, well-made clubs, kind of 2 year on 2 year, and that's the other thing as well. They tend to kind of stick to their cycle, don't they? Which I like, rather than rushing loads of drivers out. The packing for tomorrow has begun. So number 1, what is my number 1? I'm sure you've already guessed it, and you could have guessed it before this video if you think about it, and here lies the issue with these videos. Number 1 for me has to be the driver I'm using. I've used it all year, the Epic. Now I have changed from the Sub-Zero now to the Standard, and that was purely, I just felt like I was just getting a bit too fadey with the Sub-Zero, and I feel this is giving me a shop shake both ways. It has to be my number 1 driver, doesn't it? Otherwise, I mean, well, why would I be gaming it all year? Do you see what I mean? And I think this is where these videos can be slightly laughable, because to suggest, like I said earlier, that one is better than the other is wrong. Even to suggest that one might go further than the other means that you've not been fit. Yeah, unless you're buying from a company, and none of the ones that are in my top 5 do this, that doesn't offer you enough specs, lower spins, different shafts, different grip sizes, whatever, different lofts. If a driver outperforms the one I was using last year, then last year's one wasn't fitted correctly, and that's the thing that blows my head off. I don't know how, I'm not even sure if some people understand that. So the thing that I've enjoyed about the Epic is I liked the Sub-Zero for a long time. I gamed it for most of the year. It's literally in the last part of the year where I've started playing a little less because of the weather and I've been busy with other things. I feel that the Standard over the Sub is just a little friendlier, as in I'm not fighting that cut. I feel I can hit a little draw with it without trying. If anything, it's a bit too drawy sometimes, but I know that's me and I just need to practice a bit more. And as always, the reason I picked it at the start of the year, I like the colour, I like the sound, I like the feel, I like the way it looks down by the ball. Get in there. I used Callaway drivers a long time in my amateur life, so they kind of got good feelings in my head. That still resonates now. So my number one is based on what I'm gaming. It doesn't mean to say that any of the other four I couldn't game. I probably could. I just had to make a choice. I have to make a choice on something at some point because they're all getting the same distance if fitted correctly. I can do pretty much what I want with all of them within reason. Obviously I'm playing less, then the lower spin ones just push me a bit harder. But like I said, each one of them have a higher spinning and a lower spinning model within reason, or a lower and higher spinning setting within the model. So that is my top 5, but the main reason for this top 5 is hopefully not for you all to go out and just copy my top 5 as in like, you know, that's the best driver, the others isn't right. That's why I've said there's no order to this, because they're all my top 5. Each one of them I've chosen. And there's plenty that have been left out that would probably sneak in there, which again is why these videos I think are just, they're just so clickbaity, aren't they? What am I doing? I've made this, have I? I've made this video. But look, post comments down below, let me know what you think. I think doing it under a certain cost might be something. Post comments, let me know. Do you want top 5s? How would you want them kind of categorised? Post comments, let me know. Do you want under a certain amount of money, over a certain amount of best low spins? I mean, that's what the magazines do. God, I don't want to be them though. Like, you just get fit. Like that, how can one be better than the other? It's so individual to the person, isn't it? Like, what? That looks packed up, ready to go. Well, there you go. We better give you this code, didn't we? Make it something of a video. So the code with golfonline.co.uk. So you can use this code between the 23rd of November 2017, expires at 1 minute to midnight on the 27th of November 2017. Terms and conditions apply, so read the small print about the whatever. You get 10% off the entire order. So I think your kind of entire site, subject terms and conditions, and your entire order. The clubs just fell down there. It's alright, they're safe. It's a simple code, it's Black Friday. Use that code golfonline.co.uk, get your loved ones, buy your Christmas presents right now, 10% off lots of stuff. Terms and conditions apply. Go and get stuff for cheaper. Go and get one of those drivers for cheaper. One of my top 5 that's not a top 5, but not in any order. Happy birthday, coach.